Now, obviously, I'm not going to ride the bike because I'm a heterosexual and I don't like wearing rubber trousers. So I've entrusted that job.
No, it's glare from other vehicles' headlamps. Cyclists in dark clothing, it's their own fault for not working hard enough and having a car. Fatigue and staying alert. And it now... The car lapped Thruxton from a standing start in 1 minute 35.53 seconds, while the bike came home 3/4 of a second later. Still, that's enough, and now bikers everywhere can shut up.
Now, here's one of the big problems that you have on the river, which is the rowers. They reserve a special kind of hatred for people with engines on their boats. They are the cyclists of the waterway, the Hammonds. Do you want to lift? See, she hates me. I'm not interested in bike racing.
Well, that's hardly relevant, is it? Just because you're not interested in something doesn't mean that the BBC should deny all the people who are the opportunity of seeing it.
Bike racing only works on YouTube.
What?
Well, you just see the crashes and then...
Oh, don't be sick!
Hands up if you want to see bike racing. 2. So about 8% of the population want me to get a move on.
Yes, they do, and I am one of them, and so is James.
That's what you need. You see, we're all in favour of that, are we not?
Yeah.
It's the only time in my life I've ever wanted to be a policeman.
No, you can't.
Why?
You haven't got a moustache.
That's true.
I've always said to my children that if they buy a bike, I will burn it. And if they replace it with another one, I shall burn that too. Now, however, if they buy a bike, I will completely understand. And then I'll burn it. Driver of the Year. Nominations are Fernando Alonso, the Formula One world champion. That Italian thing on a motorbike.
Valentino Rossi. He's a genius.
He's not genius, he's just good at not falling off his motorbike. Anyway, the thing is... And why have you never replaced it with another car? Because presumably you can afford one now.
Because I own a motorbike after that, Jeremy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, a Motor Guzzi.
I didn't know you were homosexual.
Yes, absolutely. Most of my songs are about you.
Oh, God, no. I've got all kinds of lyrics going through my head now.
That later on in this programme, Jeremy is going to try and prove to James and me that cars are better than bikes.
Well, that's because they are.
Well, they're not.
Oh, yes, they are. They're warmer than bikes. They stand up by themselves. You don't have to wear rubber trousers. They're faster.
Not faster.
They are round corners.
Well, they're not in a straight line.
Yes, you see, that's what I'm going to prove later on, that they are faster in a straight line.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Yes, I am, but now we're going to do the proper news.
This, Ducati 1098.
I'm sorry, what are you doing?
It's a Ducati 1098. I'd like to put it forward to go on the board. In fact, I'd like to put it in the cool... I seriously, no, there's every reason why this is a very, very cool bike. It's an Italian superbike, but it isn't just technically very, very clever. It also looks beautiful. Touched a nerve there, I think. Did that touch a nerve? I may
Do not put a motorcycle on the board. Now look what's happened.
I'm sensing disagreement from you.
Run or you'll be a lot shorter.
I'm gonna...
Now.
No, well, that is one advantage of motorcycling, I will concede, but there is a disadvantage, because I was talking to a surgeon just last week, and he was telling me, you know these new bikes that have got a very pronounced fuel tank in front of the saddle?
Yeah, a lot of sports bikes.
Do you know what the most common injury is now when you've had an accident? Your testes torn off.
Oh, no.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. So you can do that to a speed camera, but the next thing you know... This surgeon was telling me he now spends most of his life sewing testicles on people, which is annoying if you're a woman. Well, you don't have to with my boyfriends. You know what you've done. I'd love to be. I'd sew them on someone's ears. Serves you right for being a biker. Now you've got earrings.
I'd sew them on the shoulders. So the next time somebody said, "Well done, mate." Oh.
Now, Harley Davidson's
Mostly they
predominantly.
do, yes. the
How do you
Harley.
fall off one of those?
Well, they're not quick.
Exactly.
But they're not about
You
that.
might as well just sit in a sedan chair. It's an armchair going at walking speed.
Look, you're not just starting Harley bashing, it's just old and corny. They're great, it's about laid back, boots in the breeze, feeling good.
You arrived this morning here on a Harley Davidson, didn't you?
My first Harley experience,
You
yes.
came on a
Moto Guzzi.
motorbike.
Yes.
For those
Yes.
of you who are intelligent. I actually took a photograph of these two just after they'd arrived. Would you like to see it? Yeah. Put it up.
Granted, that's not how we looked in our
Fun
minds.
to stay at the YMCA.
No, look, but that's an illustration of why we don't want to wear crash helmets. You will kill yourself, but at least when they lay you out at your funeral, you won't have helmet hair.
I suppose you could all dress up as Red Indians and construction workers. That's another option.
What you don't know is that we
I'll
do.
finish that. Oh, God, I tell you...
Earlier this week, they were running this story about cyclists wearing video cameras on their crash helmets.
Yeah.
So they can video, examples of road rage and people cutting them up on their bikes.
But cyclists deserve it.
You can't say that.
Well, they do deserve. Just the other week, no, honestly, there I am sitting in a traffic jam in London, and a Frenchman he was tried to cycle between the pavement and my car, and after he'd removed most of the paint with the brake handle thing, he came round to the driver's door to tell me off in that silly accent French people have.
What, a French accent?
Yes, that. And I said to him, listen, if you just work hard, you could have a car.
Oh, you see, you are exactly the reason why I want a camera on my bicycle helmet when I cycle.
Why?
So, when idiots like you get out of their car having cut me up...
Who pays the road tax?
Well,
No, I'm sorry. I don't mind if cyclists want to come on the road with their silly Victorian distractions. I'm not bothered, OK? They're fine, but they must behave themselves.
there are a few militant cyclists, I'll agree,
And you're one of them.
They give us
You
all
on a
about
bicycle-
I'm not a militant, I cycle
You are on a
perfectly
bicycle,
politely.
you are a peach. Actually, you're a peach most of the time,
And
but you're a big peach.
You're just another fat car in his Mercedes. That's and has a pop at me for riding my bike to work, which is a perfect...
Because you always ride your bike to work, don't you?
Often.
Yesterday, I saw you riding your bike to work, and I thought, that's amazing. That bicycle looks exactly like a 1967 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, well, always ride it. No. This is an unusual thing. Jeremy, do you want to sit back and have a little nap or something? Because you're not going to be very interested. It's about a bike. Go away.
Excellent.
This is the Dodge Tomahawk. They built one of these things, and it's by Chrysler. They put the engine out the Viper, the Viper, great big engine, about 420 miles an hour, possibly potential speed. Let's have a look at this thing. It's absolutely astonishing. They built one. They're going to actually sell them through
I
mail
don't
order.
think that's a bike.
Well,
It's
I have
got
one
four
worry.
wheels and a Dodge Viper engine.
see-
I call that a car.
I think they may have been confused.
We don't do bikes on this programme.
What is his problem?
Can I just ask you, though, Jeremy? I'm interested in this. What is it you don't get about bikes? I want to try and
I just
help
don't want
you.
to dress up like a Power Ranger and drive to a pub and drink orange juice all afternoon.
You like these cars that you get involved with, and so do I, and I'd never give up a car. But a bike, you are much more, back me up, at one with the bike. Your body
You're at one with
is
the bike
part
until
of
you hit the
physics.
tree, and then you're at one with that.
I think it's simply that you know deep down in your heart of hearts, if you were on a bike, you would look ridiculous.
Yes.
I would,
And that's what it-
because
yeah.
everyone on a bike with that leather arse. Look at that. Look at my bottom. Oh, I've got a zigzag blue thing on the front of my suit, and I'm wearing a hat like a terrorist. Have you ever fallen out of a car?
No.
Well, there you are.
Actually, I have.
Driving down the M40, hit a half-bridge, but I've fallen out.
That's user error. It's not obligatory.
Can I just move it on?
Oh, now, bit of bike news. This week, there's been talks at high level in government of capping the noise from bikes' exhaust at 74 decibels.
Good.
Now, that's about as loud as a hairdryer.
Good.
And it goes further than that, because what they're saying is if you were caught with a bike louder than that, the police would be able to confiscate it.
Good. I live on a road in the Cotswold, and every weekend city boys come out on their PQRS double TTs, okay, ruin it.
The Japanese four-cylinder bike being revved to about 11,500 RPM sounds glorious.
Yep.
Shrieking and
Triumph three-cylinder motorcycle engine. You don't get that noise anywhere
Growling
else. It's
away.
magnificent.
You told me the other day that your bike, whatever it is, sounds like you belching.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No,
You
what
did.
I said was the sound at low res from the exhaust is like the sound that a burp makes when it's forming down here.
I don't want to hear a forming burp going past my house on a Sunday afternoon with someone dressed like a Power Ranger. I don't want that.
Don't clap him. He's wrong.
I'm so not wrong.
Actually, I'm quite glad that you don't like it. I'm actually quite glad about this possible legislation because I think bikes should be slightly outside the law. That's why we ride them, to be a little bit rebellious, because I don't want you to like my bike. I want it to upset you.
OK, Mr. Rebel, Mr. Easy Rider, let me ask you a simple question. A few years from now, OK, you've got 2 daughters.
I have.
Some spotty oik turns up at your house on a PQRSZ OK? I've come to take your Izzy out. What are you going to do? Ha! Got him.
I'm going to keep a big bucket of sand by the door, and when I see him at the door, I'm going to go and stick my head in it, and then the problem's gone away. I won't have to worry anymore.
You're going to let a man on a bike take your daughter out?
Oh, well, that's a difficult one.
How about if I turn up in 10 years' time to take yours?
Then, on the other side of the door, I'm going to have a big bat.
Because in 10 years' time, his daughter's going to be 14 and you're going to be 75. That's one of the reasons why he'd have to clobber you with a bat, probably with a nail in it. Now, this is what I came up with. Here we go.
John works hard, which means that he can afford to drive a car. That means he gets home to his family safely every night.
Daddy's home!
Work harder. Get a car.
Thank you very much. I think a work of genius, frankly.
That is terrible.
It isn't.
It is.
It isn't.
It is. No, it is.
Good news is we have 2 films for you to look at.
No, we have 1.
No, 2. There's 2. Why don't you show them yours, first of all, which I believe is that one there.
Gentlemen, if you'd like to relax whilst I just insert this in the machine.
You stopped playing with children's toys when you grew up. So why ride a bicycle?
Oh, I did a skid!
Act your age. Get a car.
You just haven't got it, have
What's
you?
that?
Absolutely crazy.
Well, no, I can see you're disappointed just in the way you're looking, James. They're disappointed with your work. May I just play you this one, if I may? Just let me show you this one, because I think this will rectify the problem which has begun already.
John works hard, which means that he can afford to drive a car. Work harder. Get a car.
Terrible.
Sorry.
Absolutely
Sorry, that's
terrible.
just
You've just got it wrong. So
dreadfully wrong.
Where's the cyclist?
Well,
Yeah.
mangled at the end.
What was the brief?
Well, we're trying to make cycling safer, and we thought the best way to do that is to stop people cycling.
But the message you should be getting across is that people need to be considerate towards each other.
I'm not sure they're going to like our poster idea that we had as well, but we came up with that. We did spell it wrong.
I think...
With the fact-finding mission over, we felt we'd become fully paid-up members of the cycling community. Have you got the arts pages? We've tried to focus on very specific details of cycling that we experience. We hope that... this one first?
Yes, I think that's...
OK.
Cut the green wire. For God's sake, do not cut the red wire. It is imperative you cut the green wire.
Cyclists, red and green. Learn the bloody difference.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure we're really getting anywhere here.
what are you trying to achieve with that?
Cyclists jump red lights, we know this. Everybody's seen that happen.
It's what annoys people most about bicycles.